everyone. Welcome. I have a special guest that I wanted to interview today, Mark Kibyuk, and he is a naturopath. And we were having this really interesting conversation the other day. As many of you know, I spend a lot of time talking about stress and burnout, particularly in the workplace. And Mark and I had the most interesting conversation kind of about work days, our stress levels, what we're putting into our bodies. And I immediately said, oh, we have to talk about this so we can share it with everyone, just because I thought it was so interesting. And I know other people will too. So, Mark, so many people that I work with feel a lot of stress. I also meet a lot of people who are not taking time for proper breaks and or proper lunch breaks in their day. And you have lots to share with us on this. So let's go. What do you have to tell us about all of these, like stress moments throughout our day?
Yeah, I think when you context this, Alison, it's important to note that you want yourself to be the best version of yourself when you're with people that you love the most. And unfortunately, so much of the workday takes all the good out of us, and we get the left to the family seems to be like what's left over at the end of the energy day, right? So I hate that response, and we want to change that right away. So first thing that I recognize when I see a lot of clients coming into my practice is they're not eating properly. And unfortunately, what we understand is that when your blood sugars start to drop, you create this cortisol and adrenaline hormone to keep your blood sugar satisfied. So you have these sugars stored all around your body, and the way that your body can access those is by secreting stress hormone. So the
Mm,
problem I see is people not getting adequate nutrition throughout their workday leaves them in this high stress drive state, which sucks the life out of them. So one thing that most people can do is, as you said in the intro there, take the time to properly balance your lunch and actually take the time to step away from your desk to eat that lunch. That's huge.
yeah, everybody, you listening? Because I'm like on this is like my soapbox right now about this lunch break thing. And then, okay, so what happens to, most of us out there? We're not taking a lunch break. We're not eating properly. Okay, so then those stress, levels of stress, hormone. What are we calling them? Not
Yeah, so the
hormones.
cortisol, like we call it, like in reality, we measure this through salivary samples. So you
Okay.
can actually take someone and sample their saliva 6 or 7 times in the day and actually measure where their cortisol is. And we know that there's this certain cortisol slope, we call it, this certain value where most people should fit within these defined parameters during the day. And sometimes when you test people that are wired and tired, that's the frame that we use for this type of scenario. We find that their stress hormones in the afternoon are very much elevated. And they're really not supposed to be. They're supposed to be high in the morning and low in the afternoon going into the evening. So you can kind of rest and coast into sleep very easily. But so many, and I'm sure you experience it as well, are in this wired and tired state. So their decisions that they've made for food and nutrition throughout their afternoons has kind of wrecked their stress slope. And that's leaving them with this, how do I fix this problem? Right. And that's when they're coming to practitioners like you and I to kind of figure out, well, what is it that I can do to manage these skills? But first and foremost, I realize that nutrition and properly planning the day is the essential thing that everybody can do to help manage where their stress responses are.
Ooh, okay. So everyone out there who's listening, if they're like in their early afternoon or late afternoon, guzzling coffee and eating some, I don't know, granola bar on the run, which is the reality. Look, I
It
get
is what it
it,
is, right?
right? Yeah. So, but that's the reality. So if someone is sitting here listening to this, I'm all about supporting people. You are as well. How do we make small changes to work on this? If for people who are going, oh my God, I don't eat my
Yeah.
lunch, I'm
And it
not eating
doesn't
healthy.
necessarily need to be complicated, Allison. Like, let's just remember that people have enough other stressful things in their lives. Like, you want this to be as simple as possible. So I always tell people to start with, what are you eating now for lunch? And if that's something that's quick and dirty, or it's on the run, or is sometimes I miss lunch, then that's where you need to start. Sometimes if you have nothing, putting something in there will be beneficial. And I would love to see that being something with protein. So imagine something like beef or chicken or fish or vegetarian based protein sources. I don't mind whatever the source is. And you want to kind of keep that, generally speaking, to like the size of your fist. So like
Okay.
make a fist, your fist. That's what you should look at on your plate and say, like, that's my protein for my lunch. And then I always ask people when they're chronically stressed to eat their fire extinguishers.
Whoa,
Eat
what?
your fire extinguishers. That's all colorful foods.
Oh,
So
cool.
colorful foods are going to have these antioxidants, going to have these nutrients in them that honestly like quench that inflammatory fire that stress places your body in. So imagine yourself now you got a good quality piece of protein from whatever source, and you're pairing that with some vegetables or some fruit that have a lot of different colors in them. Those are really going to help your body kind of fight back against the stress response. And as you know, people that have snacks mid-afternoon typically feel like they're absolutely exhausted and they want something to bring them back up to feel happy. So I always recommend starting off someone to have something maybe as simple as even like there's bars that I love. They're called RX bars. You get them at the supermarket. They're the best. They have 4 egg whites. They have nuts and seeds. They taste delicious and they have almost nothing in them that's bad for you. Love those. So like you can imagine if you switched out your granola bar for an RX bar mid-afternoon, you're gonna feel better, right? Even people make these protein balls. So take like rolled oats with chocolate chips and like, yeah, I do it too with my kids. And I love those little ideas to kind of get that protein and get that carb back inside of your body that keeps you just so happy. So it doesn't need to be complicated, but it just can't be things that are gonna keep stoking that fire that we find ourselves in with stress, and that's gonna be eating too much sugar.
Yeah. Okay. And well, I know, and you know, that people that are in these elevated levels of cortisol all the time or for prolonged periods of time has all kinds of other kind of negative health implications as well. And it's going to start impacting our bodies, our mental and emotional health, and all of that. That's amazing. That's a starting point. So, for
Absolutely.
everyone that's listening, make that time to plan your week. It's a step, right? Plan your food a little bit better and take those lunch breaks, schedule them out. Mark, you're a naturopath. Can you tell everyone just a little bit more about the role of a naturopath and like what kinds of things you support people with?
Sure. So in my clinic, I'm primarily focused around gut health. So gut health, Allison, we know that's the root of all the things happening inside of your belly. So I see probably 80% of my audience is coming to me with some kind of IBS struggle, whether that's bloating, gas, indigestion, belly pain, food sensitivities, the whole list, right? But interestingly, we also know that your belly and your brain are connected. So I see a lot of people for struggling with attention and memory and focus and all these different things as well. We kind of take that nutritional approach to kind of figure out how the belly is being involved in this kind of scenario with their focus and attention. So we see a lot of these people in practice that are struggling to figure out what's the plan. And I'm a firm believer that when you create a plan for someone, it's all about changing their lifestyle. So I want to make habits in your routine that don't feel like work.
Hmm.
So sometimes when you start with somebody, you change 1 or 2 things. And then other people are ready to go with a full-on plan. Let's go. So remember, if you're working with a practitioner, always trying to take those steps that are achievable for you, because the last thing that you need is to have something else on your plate that you think you can fail at. Take that off the table right away and kind of make sure you have it in steps that are easy to achieve. And that's what I love to outline with my plans for my clients that I see every single day. It's so much fun. It's so rewarding to see people get better at the end of the day. And it doesn't seem like it's people challenging people too much to do what you're asking them to do, right? It's fun.
Yeah.
That's what I see in practice a lot.
Thank you so much. I hope this is going to help some people. Where can we learn more about you if anyone wants to learn? And when I post this, I will have your name in
Sure.
in the title in case anyone doesn't know how to spell
Sweet. My
it.
last name is hard to say and spell, so I get it. So Instagram is the place to go for me for finding social media content. I post a lot of different stuff on Instagram and a Facebook page, so we'll put some links down to that in the description down below. MarkKibyuk.com is the best place to kind of come and learn a bit more about my practice, what I do, booking appointments, sharing resources. That's all done through my website, and I also have a YouTube page. So we can find a whole bunch of different things about me online and learn what I do in my practice, and hope I can help you.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much
Thank you,
for sharing
Allison.
with us, Mark. I always love our chats.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.